you get all of this resolved and you get your residence and, listen to, what Mr. Caballero tells you and get you into the right, places. Hopefully you get a good place to stay and you can get back working on your feet, and I guess help take care of and support your children. And I hope it goes well for you, sir.
I do appreciate it, Mr. Mooney. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Let's do Mr. Castillo next, because that's the other person that we have here at the downtown facility. Right. Okay.
Hello, Judge.
Hello. Yeah. This is a bond hearing. I
Correct.
believe the rest of them are all bond hearings.
Correct. And I'm hoping that once Ms. Espinosa has some time, we can discuss it because I think we can work this out relatively quickly. And by the way, Your Honor, Ms. Jean Castillo, Roberto Castillo's mother, she's been in contact with me for the past several years, and she wanted to join via Zoom if that's okay with the court.
Certainly. Okay. Now, what is?
I'm gonna let her in.
It's like the defendant has been in jail 7 days.
Well, he's actually been in custody way longer than that, Your Honor. He's been in federal custody. And we just.
It's 7 days in state custody.
Correct, Your Honor. No, Ms. Castillo, Ms. Castillo, you need to keep your camera off and your microphone muted, please.
And yeah, I'd noted here at some point, he'd been in federal custody for quite a period of time. That's why we couldn't resolve the case, because we didn't have him present.
Correct. Ms. Castillo, can you turn off your camera and mute your audio, please? Or mute your microphone?
Okay.
Yeah, and also, Judge, just so you know, I did ask Judge Reyes in County Court 1 if Your Honor could hear the bond hearing on that misdemeanor, and she said that that was okay.
Now, is he presently on federal parole or what is he?
He is on federal supervised release for the next 3 years. He already pled to time served on that federal offense.
Federal supervised release. So they'll have a pretty good hold on him.
Correct, Your Honor. And he has special conditions of release. I did manage to get the judgment on that, and I can forward it to you, Evelyn, if you'd like it. But it says that his special conditions are that he must go to rehab. And I've spoken to Mr. Castillo and his mother, and they plan on getting him into Spotlight Rehab, which is in Center Point, Texas. And that's because it's faith-based, which Mr. Castillo wants, but it also deals with mental health treatment. And so the mental health treatment is also the second special condition of his supervised release. Mom is here to show that she's supportive of him. She's going to help get him to all his appointments and help set up the rehab. If he were to be released, he would be living with her for the next 3 to 5 days, but then would go to a family home that's only a few blocks away from where she lives, and she'd be able to check up on him, make sure that she gets him to his appointments, etc.
Okay. Well, our original cases, he was on probation. He was on state probation, right?
Correct, for an evading and possession.
Yeah, some kind of, it's a drug charge, not a major drug charge, I guess, but a drug charge and an evading.
Correct.
Are there other, and I guess we may have issued a bench warrant or something?
There's another drug charge, Your Honor, one that's less than 200 grams, but that one, I believe he's been on bond for the last several years.
Is that the 2020-0903?
Yes, Your Honor.
So that case is actually pending.
Correct.
We've never resolved that. Well, we couldn't because he was in federal custody. We might have had he not been in federal custody.
Yeah, and I think it's also important for the court to know that Mr. Hicks represented Mr. Castillo on the federal case. So he would be conflicted out, but that's why I think I'm hopeful that I can work this out and waive that conflict, speaking to the district attorney's office.
Oh, okay. Well, that presents another issue, doesn't it?
Yes, sir. Like I said, we can look the other way, so to speak, if there's something amenable to Mr. Castillo. Which would probably, I'm just thinking a concurrent probation, Evelyn, but we can hammer that out.
We got a
Okay.
drug case pending. But his probation has really expired, right? Except,
We filed the
except, that-
motion. We filed the
but the
motion to revoke before, Judge.
right, but in other words, there's really not much I can do on the revos because other than I could revoke him and send him to prison. That's the only thing I can do
Okay.
on that. Or I could just say, I'm not gonna do any more, that the time he spent in the federal pen was enough or something like that. But I don't really have anything that I can continue him on probation or anything because the probation has expired.
No, Judge, the probation cases don't expire until 10/3/20.
Oh, okay, the probation is still open. Oh, okay. So they're still open. Okay. On both the evading and the other drug case?
Yes,
For sure, the drug case, Judge. He pled to 10 years,
Oh, that one is still open. But
10%.
the evading one might have run out. Right?
No, they were both given 10 years, Judge.
Oh,
Before-
okay.
I'm sorry, straight probation, 10 years.
Okay. And now what kind of situation here on the bond? Of course, on the bench warrant, he's on no bond. Did he make the bond on the other 2020 case?
I think initially, Your Honor, and he's just been technically on bond for several years on that case, although in custody. He
Did
has
did they
bonds on-
surrender that bond or no?
Not that I can tell, Your Honor, he's not being held on it.
The only thing he's being held on is the bench warrant.
Correct, the 2 probation violations and the misdemeanor burglary of a vehicle on a 2019 case.
All right. And so what are you requesting from the court?
I'd ask for a personal bond, Your Honor, to give him time to be on the outside, to get situated with his federal probation, to set up the inpatient treatment through federal probation. And like I said, I'm hopeful we can work this out relatively soon.
PR bond request. All right.
And Your Honor, if I can chime in, with regard to the conflict with regard to DA Hicks, our office is addressing that and Division Chief Hamilton, it's handling those, referring those out to the county attorney. So I will make her aware of this particular case to see if that's one that she has referred over. But we
Yeah, I
are
think-
addressing all of those issues.
Yeah, in fact, that's the reason I don't really want to ask for your input on the case because since they're not present here at this time, but I can make this decision independent of,
Mhm.
the prosecutor's input.
Sure.
But I'll probably make that decision. A lot of time, most of the time I ask for your all's input, but because there could be a potential conflict and we don't have the county attorney here, I won't ask for it this time. And I'll just make the decision on the bond based on what I think is appropriate. And then we'll reset this quickly so that the county attorney can come in and represent the state and what they want to do with that pending case and what they want to do with the motions to revoke and all that stuff.
Can I ask you, Ms. Hildo,
Yes.
if defense counsel and the defendant are willing to waive that conflict, how the office is what the office's stance is in that case?
I can't speak for the office at this point. I can just relate the fact that they are referring all of those cases out. I will ask, but I will pass that information on to Division Chief Hamilton later today. And I
Okay.
just wanted to make the court aware.
Right. No,
Okay.
I think that's important. A lot of times when it's harder to waive the district attorneys, because he has all of his assistants are directly work under his authority, They are his agents directly. So it makes it a little more difficult when he personally represented someone.
Yes,
So
sir.
it may be something that they probably don't feel comfortable waiving. It'd be my guess. But it won't be a problem if the county attorney's in, they can handle it. And so they can take care of the case. Like I said, what satisfies me on the bond is these are not cases that involve danger to the community in particular. And I don't think he'll be a big flight risk in light of the fact that the federal people have a pretty good hold on him. When you're under federal supervision, they're watching you pretty carefully. So I'm pretty sure that he's not going to flee or go anywhere, because he'd be in much worse trouble than what he could do on the state side, because the federal people would do something much worse. And that would be my guess. And I see him shaking his head. Yes. So he's not going to be running anywhere. Okay. So, and I think you said his mother's, supportive. So he's got good family support. So I'm going to go ahead and grant the PR bond. But I want on the main condition on the PR bond is that he abide by and do everything that the federal authorities tell him to do. Follow
Yes,
all the federal guidelines there. I can't think of what other things these cases don't. Obviously, the standard conditions like, don't take any drugs, but I'm sure they're drug testing and all that kind of stuff anyway. So these cases don't involve, assaults on people and things like that. So there's nobody to tell him not to go around. So just the standard conditions on the PR bond.
Your Honor, if I may, this is Tony Gomez. How are you, sir?
Yes, fine, Mr. Gomez.
I supervise Mr. Castillo, but my question would be is if, I'm not sure if I heard his treatment will be out of town?
No, I think it's going to be here, isn't it?
No, they're trying to get him treatment in Center Point, Texas is where it will be, Judge. But that's not going to be for immediately. And
Now, is he in some special program with the feds? Because that seems like they must have some special program they're working him in.
I'm not sure, Your Honor. Like I said, the judgment of supervised release that does have special conditions, which offer the substance abuse treatment and mental health treatment. And I believe that place in Center Point, Texas Starlight Treatment Center fits both those criteria.
And Mr. Gomez, you're on here today because,
Of the probation cases, Your Honor.
you were his probation officer on the original probation
Yes, Your
case.
Honor.
Okay. All right. Very good. So, okay, I've taken care of that. Is there anything else, Mr. Gomez, that you want to add?
No, Your Honor, just if Mr. Castillo is released today or tomorrow for him to report to my office upon release.
Okay, and then make sure that you do what Mr. Gomez does too, because you're kind of on two different types of probation or parole, one on the federal side, one on the state side. We're not going to try to make them conflicting, but we want to make sure that we don't lose track of you, just like the feds don't lose track of you. So whatever Mr. Gomez instructs you to do, follow his instructions also. All right? Okay. Okay, did you have anything else, Mr. Vargas?
Yes, sir. I just wanted to make sure that we're all on the same page. So he's getting out on the evading, which is a 2017 cause number, 2017-0D06545. The possession, 2018-0D00391. And the misdemeanor burglary of vehicle, like I said, Judge Ruth Reyes said it was okay for Your Honor.
me to hear that. Okay, well, I'll hear that presiding for her.
Yes,
And
sir.
then I'd like a hearing within 10 days. And that should be one in which I want the defendant to be present at personally. And then that's the one where we can find out if the county attorney is going to be the one representing, and maybe they can sit down and talk with Mr. Vargas on how to resolve this.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
But there's also, I see that there are charges / warrants. I have my assistant print out. there's a POM with a $300 bond. And the second degree felony, like I said, it looks like he posted a bond on and it was just never surrendered. And I just want to make sure that none of that is going to hold him either.
Well, if you say it's not been surrendered, then it won't hold him, but I don't. I mean, if for some reason that's holding him, then, come back and I'll do a PR bond on that too, but
Yes, sir.
there doesn't need to be a PR bond because there's already a cash surety out there.
Okay. And the we charges are sort of in the ether, it looks like to me, but I'll just keep track of it, Your Honor, and I'll go and approach the court tomorrow if there are any snags. That's okay.
All right. Very good.
If that's okay with you, Evelyn?
Yeah, yeah.
Judge, with respect to the misdemeanor, we don't have a misdemeanor clerk, so I let Renee know that he needs to contact the county attorney or county clerk's office so they can prepare the order.
Yeah, they'll have to prepare a separate order for me, bring it up here for me to sign.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, let's proceed on then with Mr. Garcia.
Your Honor might be excused.
Yes, you're excused, Mr.
That's
Gomez. Thank you.
Your Honor, that's everybody for downtown, okay?
Okay, then you all are excused too.
Thank you.
Your Honor, if we're moving to the annex now, do you think we can do Mr. Shapiro so that Ms. Hill she's covering?
Oh, that's right. She needs to leave. So let's do Mr. Shapiro first.
All right, y'all take care. Have a
You
good rest of
too.
your day.
Thank you. Yeah, because that's the one you're conflicted on. Okay. Let's see, when did we?
We were here about 3 weeks ago, Judge, on a bond hearing.
Yeah.
You asked if he couldn't afford it to come back in 2 weeks. So.
And he's now been in jail 86 days. And yeah, I had a bond hearing on January the 26th of 2018. I denied. The bonds were totaled up to about 270,000, I believe. I denied it at that time, but I did. I said if he didn't make the bond, come back.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. But nothing new has happened other than he cannot make that bond.
There's some more information, Judge. His
Okay.
mother is also in the waiting room. She was waiting. And I know she's been calling.
Did we talk to her last time or not?
Yes, Your Honor, but there's more facts, more recent events.
All right. Well, I guess bring her in so we can talk to her.
Thank you, Judge.
Is she titled correctly or is it just an iPhone?
I think it's iPhone.
Okay.
And last time, Your Honor, I didn't have access to the most recent case, the assault on peace officer. So I have more facts on that case. Last time I didn't have anything.
I basically, in December of this year, revoked that PR bond. That's why he's in jail. Right?
Yes, Judge.
Because of the arrest for evading with vehicle that occurred 11/15 of 2022, resisting arrest and assault on a PO the same time, 11/20. No, that was 11/22/22. It says. So we had some information there about kicking an officer in the leg, that he got tased, meaning the defendant. He would work with his brother. But then were there other charges about assault, family violence, theft?
There was there was an assault family violence charge from January 31st, 2022. There, the facts are, the complaining witness doesn't want to press charges. She ended up at their house, at my client's house, trying to get into and to see the child. And she wouldn't let him in. Mother was there. My client's mother was there with the whole time. It even says it in portal that the complaint witness does not want to press charges. The complaining witness and Mr. Shapiro have a child together, and Mr. Shapiro has full custody of the child, along with and he takes care of the child with his mother, Miss Shapiro, who's here, I believe. Miss Shapiro, are you there?
I don't know. Well, it says it's on mute, I guess.
There she is. You're on mute, Miss Shapiro.
Unmute, okay.
Okay, so Ms. Shapiro, what additional information did you want to let me know this time that I was not aware of last time?
I was telling Mr. Caballero that it's getting harder for me to care with the child, and I'm supposed to be having some surgery done on my knees, and I have no one here to take care of the child. It's me and Cortez. It takes care of the child. So it's been 24/7 with me.
And that child is how old now?
He's 2. He'll be 3 on the 25th.
That's a pretty active age.
Yes.
And you work also, you have to scale back your work time in order to take care of the child? Yeah.
Yes.
And you're also paying for babysitting services as well?
I pay for babysitting. I pay for the child care for him to go to school. Everything. I have no help.
Do you have the camera, Ms. Shapiro? Can you show me the camera?
Yes.
Well, it's okay. If she doesn't want to appear on camera, it's fine with me.
It's fine. I just went to the restroom, so I did.
Okay.
Just to highlight briefly, the criminal history is the largest thing he's been convicted of is a state jail, which was 1244 Bede, and he does have a few misdemeanors, but beyond that, the present charges are the ones that are pretty much the bulk of his cases. He does appear to be probation eligible. The biggest charge I would say here that he has is assault on a peace officer. And that one, last week we talked that we still needed there was still a pending body cam. There was mention of a body cam, but it hadn't been uploaded yet. And with regards to the alleged officer that Mr. Shapiro made contact with or hit on the leg, he also has some history of unprofessional conduct and had been reprimanded in the past because of that. As a matter of fact, my client was internal affairs, went to go visit Mr. Shapiro and asked if he'd be willing to do a polygraph test. And when I found out, I told Mr. Shapiro not to be talking to law enforcement regarding a case that's currently active and involving his case. So from what I understand is they terminated that investigation.
Okay.
He does have mental health diagnosis of major depressive disorder and general anxiety disorder. And if you're released, Judge, he'll be referred to Takumi, which I don't think he was in the past. Mom understands how important that is, and she also wants him to go and get his mental health treatment in order. He'll also be residing with mom and his son, and he'll also if the court has any more considerations as far as whether he'll show up to court or he'll abscond, all his family is here. He does have hopes of eventually going to San Antonio, but not until he's able to do everything the right way. His sister lives in San Antonio and works, she has a pretty good job as a manager of a solar company, a solar.
The district manager for a solar panel company.
Yeah, and she can give him a job if he goes there and help put all this behind him. If the court does have more concerns, I did talk to mom, and mom said that she would be willing, and Mr. Cortez also be willing to do a monitor device. I did let him know that it is in the past a price of $300 a month, and Ms. Cortez said she could, with difficulty, she could try to afford it.
Okay. The initial case itself, the 2019 case, the engaging and aggravated assault deadly weapon case,
Dismissed, Your Honor. That's
that
not
was
present.
dismissed.
Yes, Judge.
Yeah.
Ms. Hill, what are your thoughts on this bond? What do you think it would be appropriate?
Your Honor, the state isn't in opposition to some reduction. However, my primary concern is that there's been a systematic ongoing onslaught of criminal behavior. It seems as though once he bonds out, he picks up another case, and there's multiple victims, multiple type of offenses, 3 being thefts, 1 an assault, family violence, and then an additional assault on a peace officer. So the state's concern is that the criminal episode is going to continue. So, and it appears that, you know, he has a mother who's supportive and that he was residing there, but he still is engaging in the same type of activity. The first case being January 2022, subsequently May 12th of 2022, then subsequently July 2022, later on in July 2022, and then in November. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different arrests within an 11-month period. So that's the state's concern, Your Honor.
Okay, you said the total amount of bound was 270,000,
217.
17?
Yes. That's what it looks like in the in Odyssey. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Well, I think that bond is a little high. But I am also concerned about what I see as systematic involvement in being arrested on numerous occasions for all kinds of different crimes is concerning to the court as to the safety of the community. So I'm going to reduce it though. For a
Excellent.
total,
Fine.
what?
Just wanted to ask the question, and I understand what the state was saying also. But at that time, Cortez was not having any type of mental health treatment. And like I spoke with Mr. Caballero, I am on top of that now. I'm able to get into that program, to get him into the program, because we were on our way to emergence that same day that he got arrested. So getting him into a mental health program, he has been stable on his medications when he's incarcerated, but he didn't have any way of getting any medication now. But they told me that he's able to with the insurance that he's on through Medicaid.
All right, let's, I'm not sure. I've got to divide up this bond among these various cases. You know, at one time, I think he did make the 50,000 cash surety, 50,000 PR on that one that was the engaging one. Did he make that bond?
Yes,
that a
that's working well, and I was able to pay that, but now I'm not.
Yeah. Well, let me meet with Mr. Caballero and Ms. Hill maybe sometime tomorrow and try to figure out how much bond I'm gonna put on exactly. But I think it's gonna be somewhere in the neighborhood of around, I'm thinking 75,000 cash surety, so I'm gonna reduce it. Maybe what I'll do is it 217, you said?
Yes, Judge.
So if I did. So if I did 75,000 cash surety and 75,000 PR, but I'd have to divide it up, put down conditions. And so we can meet tomorrow and I can figure out how I want to divide that up. That's probably where I'm going to go, but I haven't made up my mind totally. I'll see you all probably tomorrow. So are you going to be in the building, Ms. Hill?
I will be here in the morning. In the afternoon, I have funeral leave, but I'll be here all morning.
Okay, well, let's see if we can meet sometime during criminal matters in the morning. How much do we have tomorrow? I don't even know. Do we have a real heavy schedule tomorrow morning, Michelle?
I think we do, Judge. Let me see. There's. We have 5 cases set at 9
Okay,
and a status modification.
well, do we have some pleas and things like that?
Yes, Judge, admonishments at 9, and then we have a
Well,
lot
I've
of
got,
hearings
whatever
at,
I'm gonna get done, let's see if we can get together about 11 o'clock.
and then we have a lot of
We
hearings.
gotta get it done with Ms. Hill at 11. So I'll try to meet with Ms. Hill and Mr. Caballero at 11. And because I have to have the clerk here and figure this out. Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Thank
Okay,
you,
so
Judge.
let's proceed on to Mr. Garcia.
Thank you, Judge. May I be excused?
Yes,
Thank you.
Maybe excuse, Judge?
indeed.
All right, we will see you in the morning.
See you
Take
tomorrow.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, let's go back to Mr. Gomez, or whoever, I think that was it. What's
This
this?
is the misdemeanor one, Judge. It's blank too. I don't know if you want to pull options.
Okay,
Supervision level,
what?
supervision level, standard.
Yeah, standard, that's fine. Miguel Garcia. Mr. Garcia. He's been in jail 98 days, and what is the amount of bond?
$20,000 surety, Judge.
And let's see here. Who is representing? Mr. Morales is representing. Are you doing this one, Mr. Morales?
Which one are we up on first, Judge? On Garcia?
Yes. It
Okay.
initially said Mr. Huffman, but is it you though?
Yes, Judge. I'm on, which Garcia is this? I almost said
Miguel.
Miguel Garcia. Yes, Judge.
Okay, so let me look at this. So 2022 case. I revoked the bond because he was supposed to stay 200 yards away from the residence of his mother, and he failed to do that. The initial case is a violation of protective order. It was in place July 18, 2021, about 6 p.m. Brother calls PD. Defendant came to mother's home, ringing doorbell. There's a video of that. There was another new P-file case, criminal trespass at school. Defendant was homeless. He wasn't contacting his attorney. His criminal history, he's been to prison twice.
Correct, Your Honor.
2008, ag robbery, 9 TDC. 1999, burglary of a hab, 4 TDC. He's been to the state jail. 2005, possession of controlled substance. Been living out of his car. He doesn't have anywhere to live. He doesn't, and the mother apparently, and now he's after being placed on bond, he violated the most important condition and came within 200 yards of his mother's home. Okay, so why should I give him a bond again? So, Mr. Morales, go ahead.
Yes, good morning, Judge. And I did catch your rendition of things, and that is accurate. I'm looking at my information right now. He's been in jail about 100 days at this point.
Yep.
We've been unable to get a hold of, I'm looking at the notes, our most recent attempts, we've been unable to get a hold of the mother in this case. We've got a referral set up for him to live at the rescue mission if he were released. And we'd even ask the court go one step further, and as part of any potential release order, require or I guess order the sheriff's department to transport him directly there to the rescue mission. I do have, I think I've got his 1622 form here. I'm looking at it now. A number of mental health disorders that Mr. Garcia is dealing with. We've got him diagnosed as being bipolar. There is a depression issue as well with some psychotic features. So we do have him set up for a referral with, it looks like EHN as well, and I don't have what current medications he's on. So that was the only thing that I was really hoping to get. What we've also said EHN, Takumi, EHN, the services that we're trying to get him set up with. I did not realize that his adult criminal history was quite that extensive. That is one I have to admit I didn't know about, Judge.
Because basically he could be habitualized here.
And be pretty harsh on a violation of a protective order. And Evelyn, you'd have to tell me.
I don't know if we have a rec on this one. Do we have a rec yet on this?
I had
In
been
fact-
talking, I'm sorry, Judge, go ahead.
Let's see if I see one on here before. No, I did not show a rec ever yet on this case. You were going to contact the complaining witness, and I
And
don't
you
know
did
if you
your-
ever did.
Yes, Your Honor, we did, and she does want to prosecute. I guess the problem is that she knows that he's going to continue to go to her residence, even though he's been told several times not to. And I had asked defense for some kind of mitigation in order to maybe offer probation, because it seems like he does have mental health issues. But I guess at this time I can make a TDC rec. Let's see.
Okay, well, I won't.
It's been a long time.
I won't press you as to how much, but I you know, I just,
And we're continuing to work on that mitigation stuff, Judge. I'm sure the information I received.
I just can't, I can't go for a PR bond when it was a violation of a protective order and he goes right back to the place where he was absolutely told not to go. That's just, you know, that's just not, there's no way I can grant a bond on that. I mean, even if he tells me I won't do it again, I mean, he wasn't supposed to do it last time. You know, that's just not good enough. And considering his criminal history is awfully bad. I mean, like I said, they could literally go for 25. I don't think they will, but you know, it's serious. All right. Well, you know, consider it. I'm sure he can't make any cash bond at all. So your request was for a PR bond, and
Yes, Judge. And just one short note for Mr. Garcia. Mr. Garcia, our social worker here in-house, Ms. Ruiz, is going to be in contact with you. She's been working on your case, and we're going to continue to work on it. So if you're contacted by her, she's with the Public Defender's Office. Please do cooperate with her, sir. Thank you, sir.
And does he have family out of town or anywhere?
Yes, sir.
Well, that's it.
Got family in Denver, Colorado, and California.
Well, you might look at there might be some possibilities there to look at. Because I wouldn't be real crazy on a probation here in this city with the issues with his mother.
Understood, Judge.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you very much. Let's do the next one, which might also be yours, Joel Ortiz. Is that one yours also?
Yes, Judge. I think this one's a burglary habitation, a very young man, Judge. Let me
Yeah, we
catch.
got a burglary hab. Is it 128 days in jail? And what's the amount of bond?
In just a moment, Judge. I'll catch up there.
Juan Ortiz?
No, this is Joel Ortiz, I think.
Okay, Judge, it's 20,000 surety.
Judge, this is the young man whose brother was actually, his younger brother was actually killed in an auto accident, pedestrian accident, right before Christmas. And we were unable to get him out during that time frame. Tragically, his younger brother was killed. I think the brother was about 16, was my understanding.
Oh, yeah, he was the co-defendant in this case.
And I think that's accurate as well. I had not confirmed that, but I believe that to be true, Judge. And so we had the burglary habitation here. I don't believe that Mr. Ortiz has any significant adult criminal history in El Paso that I could see. I'm sure if there is any additional information, Ms. Espinosa will make us aware of that. I've been in really good contact with, I guess, with his girlfriend, Miss Luna. She's got a Houston number, but it looks like he has a son in San Antonio, and that he was here, I guess, merely visiting, I guess, is the information I have. We're hoping that we can get him out on bond. Did miss the funeral for his brother. Turned 20 years old in jail a couple of days before Christmas. I think if we can get him out on bond, Judge, we can get him sorted out with his family here. Give him a couple of weeks to catch up emotionally with everything that's gone on recently. I'm pretty sure this is the longest period of time that he's been in custody as an adult. And then I think we can resolve this case if there was a probation recommendation out there. I think we can get there, Judge.
Yeah, we didn't have a rec before January 27th. We had the judge's pretrial. Do you have a rec now, or?
No, Your Honor, I have not been able to make contact with our complaining witness. But let me see.
Well, there can't be any the restitution
Everything
can't
was
be
recovered.
extensive because he was caught inside the home. So whatever they got, I'm sure was recovered.
Yes, Your
This
Honor.
is because there was a video, and so they saw the video of the defendant in their home. They get a hold of the PD.
We,
and they get out there and they are able to arrest them before they get out of the home.
Judge, we get him out on PR bond for a couple of weeks leading into the resolution of this case. It'd be a good dry run for probation. I'm sure Mr. Ortiz is anxious to have the opportunity to prove to the court that he can be successful now, and he's had a series of significant wake-up calls here recently, Judge.
But if I let him out, where's he gonna stay?
Mr. Ortiz, do you have family here as well in El Paso, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Where-
sir.
Who are you gonna reside with?
With my grandma?
Let's see if I got an address here, Judge, in my records for that.
Does he have employment here or what?
No, Judge, he was here visiting, so I'm sure he could find employment here, but I think ultimately, Judge, he's looking to leave. I don't think he wants to. Mr. Ortiz, if I'm wrong on that, I mean, that's the notes that I gotten. I don't think that he wants to stay here, Judge.
Yes, sir.
You're wanting to return to, is it San Antonio?
Oh, yes. Houston.
Houston.
And Mr. Ortiz, I've got a Nottingham address here in El Paso. Would that be the local address that you would use?
Right, that's my grandma's.
I've got 9304 in Nottingham here in El Paso, Judge. I think we can get this case resolved. Good opportunity for him to demonstrate to the court that he can be successful. And then ultimately, since it's in-state, Judge, I hope that we would not have any difficulty in transferring him back to the Houston area, Judge.
Do you have any thoughts on that, Ms. Espinosa?
No, I mean, I'll leave it in your discretion, Judge. It's true that he doesn't have any significant history, although it was 2020 unauthorized use of vehicle, 2022 evading with vehicle and possession of a firearm by a felon. This was in Wilson County. So he is.
He must be a felony conviction if he's a possession of firearm by felon.
Right, Judge. So the concern, I mean, obviously, if he does go back, then we would consider probation, but he is picking up a lot of very serious charges, and this included, which is a burglary of habitation.
I might be more inclined like the probation, if that's what the state recommends, and then get his probation transferred to what, Harris County? You want to go back to Harris County?
Sure.
Now, what is that where you have, is that where your child is and your girlfriend?
My girlfriend is, my son, I'll take him with me once I get out. I'll take my son to Harris County to live in.
And is that correct, Mr. Ortiz, that your son is in San Antonio? Was that it, but you were living in Houston?
Yes, sir.
Now, who would you, if you go back to Houston, is that where you're going to want to live and stay in Houston?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Who would you be residing with there?
With my girlfriend.
Oh, okay.
That's Miss Luna, Miss Maya Luna, is that correct, Mr. Ortiz?
Yes, sir.
And I've had real good contact with her, Judge. She and I have spoken about a half a dozen times. I know she's really interested in Mr. Ortiz and his progress, and I'm sure she'll be helpful.
Why don't we talk about that a little more tomorrow morning when you come up here? You're going to be here anyway.
I will be here.
No. And we'll go over that, and I'll tell you what I'm going to do then.
Understood.
All right. Thank you. And our final one is Mr. Signs. Is that right? What's the,
Judge, on Mr. Signs,
he's been in jail 172 days, so.
The note that I have here from my social.
You know what the amount of bond is here?
I do, Judge. Well, you know what? I bet Miss Lupe's system, somehow hers moves faster than mine.
What is the bond?
It's a split bond, 2,000 surety and 23,000 20,000 PR.
And he hasn't been able to make that, even a $2,000 bond?
No, Judge. Almost 6 months, in
It's a
jail.
long time not dealing like that bond. Let's see what's going on here. We did the judge's pretrial conference. There was no rec at that time in November. Do you have a rec now?
Give me 1 second, Judge, I'm sorry. Because I think there was a question about a juvenile case that he had with an indecency with child sexual contact.
Yes.
I sent for the disposition. Let me see if I got anything.
Yeah, it was critical to see if that was a conviction or what it was.
Ugh, I didn't get a response. I'm gonna have to.
Where was that out of?
It
Here?
was, yes, Socorro Independent School District.
That had to be as a juvenile, though.
Yes, he was a juvenile.
Now, this case, there was an accident of Del Sol Hospital, off-duty officer to help defendant who's very aggressive, punched the officer in the face with his elbow, allegedly attacked hospital security. They found some drugs in some meth in his pocket. He had about a 10th grade education, wasn't employed, had some mental health issues, would live with his mother and stepfather. That's all the information I have. Is there more information?
And Judge, along those lines, I'm reading the notes that we had from our social worker who was on this. We're hoping that Mr. Sines would be able to live with his sister Destiny Sines. But maybe even more important than that, as a preliminary step, Judge, we're hoping that the court would order. I guess there was no 1622 evaluation that was done, and we were kind of looking for a place to really get some quality information about Mr. Sines' mental health status, where he was now. There are some real concerns on our end, the direction that he's going. Some classic signs of like late onset of some pretty serious mental health issues, Judge. So we're hoping to get him evaluated, get a rec here, and then hopefully resolve these cases and get him some looks like we're working on the referrals as well, whether that be a granting of a PR bond or whether that be the fairly quick resolution of this case. Looks like reading the notes from the social worker that we're working on those things right now, Judge.
I mean, it looks like
Sorry.
it looks
I'm
like
sorry.
yes.
Oh, Judge, go ahead. Well, I was just going to say that if there is an issue about competency, then that's probably the first thing that needs to be done, because I don't think I'm going to offer probation if he's not even, has he been diagnosed? Is he on medication? Do you have appointments set up for him? If not, I'm looking at TDC time, because he already has prior convictions.
And I think that's why they wanted to start off. The note that I'm seeing here is that we wanted to start off with the 1622 evaluation, I guess, as a jumping off point. I guess that's what was requested. That we take care of that evaluation first, Judge, and that would give us a good idea of where to go to next.
Do you want to? Are you wanting to?
Your Honor, at
what do
this
you-
time, and I will make a recommendation without any information about, whether he has been found competent or not. I mean, I will recommend to TDC on these charges, and then maybe if there's like a mitigation packet or something, or if he wants to take it. we
Okay.
can discuss it
And then
later.
you've got to see if he's. Are you thinking about? Are you going to file competency motions or?
That wasn't anything that we'd anticipated, Judge. I didn't think competency was an issue, but again, if we can get him evaluated first, that initial evaluation for whatever reason was not done. We've got another one where we're set for a status on the 23rd, so we're set next Thursday. So I think we'll be even I think we'll be even better prepared at that point. We'll have more information.
I mean, I think initially here, I'm gonna deny that bond issue because I wanna, I wanna see what's going on with your evaluations.
Understood, Judge.
All right, thank you. And that concludes the jail cases.